There is a new energy inside Ferrari these days. It might not be the loudest or the most obvious change, but for anyone paying attention, it's clear that something important is starting to take shape. After a difficult and frustrating start to the 2025 Formula One season, Ferrari has finally identified a major issue that explains why Lewis Hamilton has been struggling so much in the SF25. It's a discovery that could completely change Hamilton's season, and maybe even Ferrari's future. The 2025 preseason had been full of optimism. Ferrari looked fast. The SF25 seemed to have the potential to challenge Red Bull and McLaren. Hamilton seemed energized, ready for a new chapter. And when he took pole position for the sprint race in China and won it, it felt like a glimpse of what could be possible. For a moment, fans allowed themselves to dream, but Formula One has a way of snapping people back to reality quickly. And that's exactly what happened. After China, things went downhill fast. In Saudi Arabia, Hamilton finished 7th, exactly where he started. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc grabbed a strong podium finish. It wasn't just that Hamilton wasn't getting results. It was the way it was happening that worried people. He looked uncomfortable. He looked like he was fighting the car every step of the way. Lando Norris overtook him easily, and at one point Hamilton even found himself battling a Williams driven by Carlos Sainz. No disrespect to Sainz or Williams, but that is not where a 7-time world champion is supposed to be. Naturally, the questions started swirling. How could a driver with 103 career wins look so out of place? Was it age? Motivation? Had Hamilton made a huge mistake by joining Ferrari? But now finally there's a real answer, and according to journalist Ian Parks, it's not about Hamilton's talent or motivation, it's about the car itself. More specifically, it's about how the SF25 is interacting with Hamilton's unique driving style. Ferrari has discovered that Hamilton is struggling with a deep, fundamental imbalance in the SF25. This isn't a case of small setup issues or needing more seat time. It's a full identity crisis between driver and machine. The car simply isn't behaving in a way that matches what Hamilton expects. It's like trying to dance salsa in ski boots. Nothing feels right, and every movement feels clumsy, too. His credit, Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur hasn't panicked. He's stayed calm, supportive, and focused. Instead of throwing Hamilton under the bus, Vasseur has stood firmly behind him. He knows that this isn't about talent loss. It's about engineering. It's about solving a problem that was hidden beneath the surface until now. And crucially, now that Ferrari has identified the problem, they can start working on a real solution. For Hamilton, this discovery couldn't have come at a better time. After admitting that Miami would probably be another tough weekend and warning that the rest of the season could be a struggle, he needed some good news. Finding out that the issues weren't in his head, that the car genuinely wasn't behaving correctly for him, must have been a relief, because in Formula One, confusion is worse than a slow car. If you know what's wrong, you can fix it. But when nothing makes sense, it eats away at your confidence. That's what Hamilton had been dealing with, until now. Credit also goes to Ian Parks, the journalist who dug deep enough to uncover the real story. Parks isn't just another voice chasing clicks. He knows the difference between noise and real insight, and when he says that Ferrari now has a full theory explaining Hamilton's struggles, it's worth paying attention. According to Parks, Ferrari believes that the SF25 is fundamentally out of balance for Hamilton's driving style. It's not about raw speed. It's about how the car reacts to Hamilton's inputs, the braking, the cornering, the acceleration. Hamilton, who spent over a decade perfecting his skills at Mercedes, is now in a machine that doesn't respond the way he expects. And when you can't trust your car, everything else falls apart. This breakthrough is so important because for weeks, Hamilton's struggles didn't make logical sense. The telemetry didn't match the performance. Hamilton's feedback was inconsistent. He wasn't just slower than Leclerc. He was doubting himself. And for a driver who relies so much on rhythm and trust, that's a dangerous situation. But now, finally, there's clarity. Ferrari isn't guessing anymore. They have diagnosed the problem. They know what they need to work on, and that changes everything. Leclerc, who has been with Ferrari for years, adapted more easily. He understands the car's quirks. But Hamilton, is essentially trying to write poetry with a pen that leaks ink. He still has the skills, but every move feels messy and unfamiliar. Ferrari, realizing this and admitting it, is not just a technical breakthrough. It's a cultural one. Vasseur's leadership is shining through here. Instead of the usual panic and finger-pointing that often follows Ferrari's struggles, he's keeping the team calm. He's protecting Hamilton from the media frenzy. He's letting the engineers focus. He's playing the long game, because Vasseur knows what many others have forgotten. Hamilton wasn't brought to Ferrari just to win in 2025. He was brought to help build the future, to change the culture, to make Ferrari stronger for years to come. That's a project that needs patience, not panic, and Vasseur also knows how dangerous doubt can be for a driver. When Hamilton clicks with a car, he doesn't just win, he dominates. But when he starts second-guessing himself, his performance can spiral. That's why it's so important to rebuild that connection between driver and machine. There's also something poetic about Hamilton's situation. Once the leader of the unstoppable Mercedes machine, he's now playing catch-up, struggling emotionally and technically. But he's not giving up. He's not walking away, he's staying in the fight, and that's a key detail. Hamilton could have protected his legacy by staying at Mercedes or even retiring. Instead, he chose chaos. He chose discomfort. He chose to challenge himself in a completely new environment. That says everything about his character. The signs of recovery won't be loud at first. They'll show up in small ways, in setup changes that finally feel right, in long runs where the balance holds steady, in radio messages that sound a little more confident. It's not about instant wins. It's about building a foundation. 4. The first time in weeks, Hamilton and Ferrari seem to be moving in the right direction together. The car isn't perfect, but it's starting to speak Hamilton's language, and once that communication clicks, everything else can follow. This isn't just about fixing a race car, it's about changing the story. Because if Hamilton and Ferrari can start making progress now, even before the big upgrades arrive later in the season, they can turn this difficult start into the beginning of something much bigger. That's what makes Miami so important. It's not just another race, it's a potential turning point, a chance for Hamilton to show that the worst is behind him, a chance for Ferrari to prove that they're serious about building something real. Miami is the perfect setting for this. It's a chaotic street circuit, a city built on spectacle. It's unpredictable, anything can happen. And while Hamilton probably won't win the race outright, what matters more is showing clear progress. A clean weekend, a car that feels predictable, a performance that shows that the pieces are finally starting to fit together. That's what Miami represents. A moment to stop the doubts from growing louder. A moment to shift the narrative. Because right now every story about Hamilton is full of question marks. Was the move to Ferrari a mistake? Is he past his prime? Can he still win? But a strong weekend in Miami, even if it doesn't end on E, the podium, can start to answer those questions. And more importantly, it can give Hamilton something he desperately needs: direction. A feeling that he's not just surviving but building, that the struggle has a purpose. Ferrari too has everything to gain. By supporting Hamilton, by adapting the car to him, by building slowly and patiently, they are showing that they're serious about change. Not just quick fixes or desperate gambles, but real growth. That's what makes this different. Ferrari isn't